I'm in St. John's Cemetery. I've done a few videos here from St. John's Cemetery before. A lot of crime figures, crime bosses are buried in St. John's Cemetery. Today we're visiting the grave of crime figure Roy DeMeo. A big history on Roy DeMeo. He died in '83, born in 1940. He was an Italian-American mobster in the Gambino crime family. He headed a group referred to as the DeMeo crew, which became notorious for the large number of murders they committed, and not only that, but also for the grisly way in which they disposed of the bodies, which became known as the Gemini method. The crew was responsible from anywhere close to, they figure, 200 murders. So DeMeo initially was an associate of the Flatlands Canarsie faction of the Lucchese crime family, which, you know, they controlled tow trucks, junkyards, car theft operations in that section of Brooklyn. Eventually, they kind of moved on into the loan sharking business. The first member of the DeMeo crew was a 16-year-old, Chris Rosenberg, who met DeMeo in 1966 when he was dealing marijuana at a gas station. 1972, Rosenberg had introduced his friends to DeMeo, and they began working for him as well. Hence the DeMeo crew. DeMeo's collection of loan shark customers, while still primarily those in the car industry, soon included other businesses such as dentist office, abortion clinics, restaurants, flea markets, everything. We're in the 1970s now, and as the 1970s continued, DeMeo cultivated his followers into a crew experienced with the process of murdering and dismembering victims, with the exception of killings intended to send a message to anyone who would hinder their criminal activities, or murders that presented no other alternative. A set method of execution was established by DeMeo and the crew to ensure that victims would disappear quickly. It was dubbed the Gemini method because it was in the name of the Gemini Lounge, which I made a video prior. That was the primary hangout of the DeMeo crew. That's where most of the victims were killed. So the method was to lure the victim through the side door of the lounge and into the apartment in the back portion of the building. At this point, the crew member, almost always DeMeo, according to crew member turned government witness Frank the Gnome, would approach with a silence pistol in one hand and a towel in the other, shooting the victim and it was kind of pretty much history from there. He would then wrap the towel around the victim's headroom like a turban to kind of stanch the blood flow. Immediately after, Chris Rosenberg supposedly would stab the victim in the heart to prevent more blood flow from pumping out of the gunshot wound. By then, the victim would be dead, at which point the body would be stripped of clothing, dragged into the bathroom where the remaining blood would be drained out within the body. This was to eliminate the messiness of the next step, which crew members would place the body onto plastic sheets laid out in the main room, and then they would dismember it. And once it was dismembered, it was apparently dumped in the Fountain Avenue dump ground, which I've also made a video to prior. Many crimes and many murders allegedly for Mr. DeMeo. So his downfall, kind of, so to speak, in '82, the FBI was investigating the enormous number of missing and murdered persons who were linked to DeMeo, who were last seen entering the Gemini lounge. Around this time, an FBI bug in the home of the Gambino family capo picked up a conversation between him and Gene Gotti, a brother of John Gotti. In the conversation, it was discussed that Paul Castellano had put out a hit on Roy DeMeo, but was having difficulty finding someone willing to do the job. In his final days, it was said that DeMeo was paranoid and knew that he would be killed soon. He was soon wearing a leather jacket with a shotgun concealed underneath. DeMeo even considered faking his own death by having his son shoot him and laying low. There was much discussion and much talk as to what exactly happened to DeMeo. So in '84, the DeMeo, let's backtrack here. The DeMeo crew was theorized that DeMeo was set up in a similar manner to how he set up Rosenberg, and that Gaggy, individuals by the name of Gaggy, I know I'm pronouncing wrong, Testa and Center, were present when he was killed. So it's almost insinuating the task force that investigated it saying that he was killed by his own family members. So, January 1920, DeMeo's Cadillac was discovered in the parking lot of the Ventura Boat Club in Sheepshead Bay. The car was towed to a nearby police station where it was searched by detectives. DeMeo's partially frozen body was found in a trunk with a chandelier on top of it. He had been shot multiple times in the head and a bullet wound in his hand, assumed by law enforcement to be a reflective, defensive wound caused when his killers opened fire on him. So it's theorized that it was through his own family members, if I'm reading and understanding this correctly, which is quite the story. There's a lot more that you could say about Mr. DeMeo. There are no there are multiple people buried here, according to this, but there are no no plaques, which is not uncommon. Some people, I mean, I've seen this before, where there's nothing commemorating, from when they lived to when they died. Maybe this might be for the fact that maybe they don't want many visitors coming to the grave in the family. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not uncommon. Some people, some families still want to remember the good days when that person was alive. But this is the grave of Roy DeMeo. I will see if I can link the Gemini Lounge video in the back of this to get a bigger story, that we can see the whole picture of how the Gemini Lounge looked, or at the very least just attach a picture of the Gemini Lounge. I will also link, if I can't put the Gemini Lounge video with this one, I'll link it in the comment section below in the description box. The grave of Roy DeMeo.